Some of the most breathtaking places on Earth are the ones almost no one talks about. They're hidden gems scattered across the globe, offering landscapes and experiences unlike anywhere else. This video explores 10 of them, places that will completely change the way you see the world. Let's begin with one of the world's last untouched island paradises. Far off the beaten path in eastern Indonesia lies Raja Ampat, a cluster of more than 1,500 small islands scattered across the ocean. While Bali attracts millions of visitors every year, Raja Ampat stays relatively untouched, and that's part of its magic. The islands are surrounded by lagoons of turquoise water, limestone cliffs draped in greenery, and some of the most diverse marine life on the planet. Divers and snorkelers call it one of the last true paradises of the sea. Beneath the waves live hundreds of coral species and well over 1,000 species of fish, including manta rays, reef sharks, and vibrant schools that look like underwater rainbows. But it isn't just about what's under the water. The views above are just as mesmerizing. Small islets rise sharply from the sea, like emerald towers, and in places like Huacachina Island, the scenery feels unreal. Because it's remote and harder to reach than Indonesia's more famous islands, Raja Ampat still feels raw and authentic. Villages are small, tourism is low, and the natural world remains in control. For anyone chasing a destination that feels both untouched and otherworldly, Raja Ampat is as close to paradise as it gets. From a world of turquoise waters, the journey moves into the desert. Hidden in the sands of southern Peru is Huacachina, a tiny oasis town that looks like something out of a legend. A green lagoon sits at its center, fringed by palm trees and surrounded by small houses, restaurants, and guest houses. Rising all around it are towering sand dunes that stretch as far as the eye can see. The dunes are enormous, some climbing hundreds of meters high, and they turn Huacachina into one of the most unique places in South America. It's popular with thrill seekers who come here for sandboarding or high-speed dune buggy rides that send you racing up and down the slopes. Beyond the adventure, there's a sense of calm too. Sunset from the top of the dunes is unforgettable, with the sun dipping below a golden horizon and the tiny oasis glowing below. Huacachina is often overshadowed by Peru's big names like Machu Picchu or Cusco, but it offers a completely different experience. It isn't ancient ruins or high mountains, it's desert magic, a surreal pocket of life surrounded by an ocean of sand. In southwestern Turkey, nature has created something truly otherworldly. Pamukkale, which means cotton castle, is a hillside covered in dazzling white terraces. These terraces are made of travertine, a type of limestone left behind by thermal springs that flow down the slope. Over centuries, the water carved out pools and ledges, creating a landscape that looks like frozen waterfalls or a castle made of snow. The bright blue water in the terraces adds to the surreal effect. Visitors can walk along parts of the site, dip into the shallow pools, and take in views of the valley below. Above Pamukkale lies the ancient city of Hierapolis, with ruins of baths, temples, and a theater that show how people have been drawn to these hot springs for thousands of years. Pamukkale blends natural wonder with history in a way few places do. The warm, mineral-rich waters feel soothing, and the scenery is unforgettable, especially in late afternoon light when the pools glow against the white rock. Next up is a lake that looks like it belongs on another planet. In northern Tanzania, near the border with Kenya, lies Lake Natron. At first glance, it may not seem welcoming. Its waters are bright red in places thanks to salt-loving microorganisms, and the lake's high alkalinity makes it harsh for most forms of life. But it's this harshness that makes it so extraordinary. Lake Natron is the primary breeding ground for millions of flamingos. When the season is right, the shallow waters turn into a pink sea of life, with thousands upon thousands of birds gathering together. The sight of them wading across the shimmering red lake, with the backdrop of the volcano Oldoño Lengai rising nearby, stays in memory for a long time. What makes Lake Natron even more fascinating is how it looks from above. The mineral patterns in the water create swirling, colorful designs that resemble abstract paintings. From ground level, it's stark and dramatic. From the air, it's like staring into a living canvas. Few travelers venture here compared to Tanzania's famous safari parks, but those who do are rewarded with a landscape that feels totally unique in Africa. Across the world in the South Pacific sits an island that often gets overshadowed by its neighbor, Bora Bora. That island is Moorea, and in many ways, it's even more captivating. Just a short ferry ride from Tahiti, Moorea rises from the ocean like a green pyramid, with sharp volcanic peaks wrapped in thick jungle. Around it lies a clear lagoon that shifts in shades of blue, from deep sapphire to bright turquoise. Moorea feels wild and dramatic, but also welcoming. Villages dot the coastline where life moves at an unhurried pace. Hiking trails lead up to panoramic viewpoints like Belvedere Lookout, where the island's valleys and bays spread out below. Offshore, the waters are alive with tropical fish, rays, and even humpback whales that migrate through from July to November. What makes Moorea so special is its balance. It's remote enough to feel like an escape, yet close enough to Tahiti to be easy to reach. For anyone looking for a tropical paradise with a touch of adventure, Moorea is a standout. Hidden in northeastern Brazil is a landscape so unusual that it looks almost like another world. Lençóis Maranhenses is a vast desert of white sand dunes stretching for miles. But unlike most deserts, this one fills with water. During the rainy season, rain collects in the dips between the dunes, forming thousands of turquoise lagoons that shimmer under the sun. From above, the contrast is breathtaking. Endless white curves broken by pools of blue and green. On the ground, these lagoons are perfect for swimming, their waters cool and crystal clear. Each one has its own unique shape and color, which makes wandering through the dunes feel like discovering hidden gems again and again. What makes Lençóis Maranhenses even more fascinating is how temporary it all is. By the dry season, many of the lagoons vanish, leaving only the sweeping dunes. When the rains return, the cycle begins again, and the desert transforms into something entirely different. On the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe lies one of the world's most powerful waterfalls, Victoria Falls, locally known as Mosi Oa, or the smoke that thunders. It holds the title of the largest curtain of falling water on the planet. More than half a mile wide and over 350 feet high, the sight and sound of the falls is staggering. The roar can be heard from miles away, while towering clouds of mist rise into the air, often crowned with rainbows. But Victoria Falls is more than just its size. Above the drop, the Zambezi River moves wide and calm. Below, it crashes into a deep gorge, sending water surging through the cliffs. Visitors can see the falls from different viewpoints, walk across the knife-edge bridge for a close-up with the spray, or head downstream where the river turns into wild rapids. Compared to Niagara or Iguazu, Victoria Falls has a wilder, more untamed atmosphere. It feels less commercialized and more raw, a natural wonder that perfectly captures the spirit and grandeur of Africa. Across the plains of Myanmar stretches one of the most breathtaking archaeological sites in the world, Bagan. Between the 9th and 13th centuries, this was the heart of a powerful kingdom, and today more than 2,000 temples, pagodas, and stupas still stand. Their spires rise above the landscape in every direction, creating an endless sea of ancient architecture. At sunrise, Bagan turns into something truly magical. The first light of day glows against the temples, while hot air balloons drift quietly across the sky. On the ground, each temple holds its own history. From the grand Ananda temple with its golden spires to smaller shrines tucked away in fields where few tourists wander. Unlike Angkor Wat, which draws huge crowds, Bagan has a more peaceful atmosphere. It feels like a place of discovery, where history is still alive in every stone. For those drawn to both beauty and culture, Bagan is unforgettable. An ancient city frozen in time, yet still full of life. In central Croatia lies one of Europe's most enchanting natural wonders, Plitvice Lakes National Park. Here, 16 lakes are linked together by a network of waterfalls and cascades, creating a dreamlike landscape. Wooden pathways and trails weave over turquoise waters, past streams and through dense forests, giving visitors the chance to walk right through the heart of this beauty. Each waterfall has its own character. Some are thin and delicate, while others crash with power. The lakes shift in color depending on the light and minerals in the water, glowing turquoise one moment and deep emerald the next. In autumn, the surrounding forests light up in shades of orange and gold, adding another layer of wonder. While Croatia's Adriatic coast often steals the spotlight, Plitvice offers a more serene and mystical side of the country. It's one of those places that feels like nature designed it specifically to leave visitors speechless. The journey ends in Morocco, at Aït Benhaddou, a fortified village made of clay and mud brick, glowing red against the desert landscape. For centuries, this Ksar was a stop along ancient caravan routes where traders carried salt, gold, and spices across the Sahara. Its towers and walls have stood the test of time, and walking its narrow alleys feels like stepping centuries back into history. From the hilltop, the view stretches across the valley to the distant Atlas Mountains, a panorama that seems unchanged for generations. Aït Benhaddou is also a star of the screen, having appeared in films and series like Gladiator and Game of Thrones. Even with this recognition, many travelers still overlook it in favor of bigger Moroccan cities and attractions. Yet Aït Benhaddou is one of the most beautiful and atmospheric places in North Africa. Its mix of history, architecture, and desert scenery make it the perfect ending to a journey of hidden wonders. These 10 places prove that the most stunning destinations aren't always the ones everyone talks about. The world is full of hidden beauty waiting to be discovered, and this is just the start. If you enjoyed this journey, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join in for more adventures around the globe.